Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Really excited. We're going to do this in one take this morning because I have a lot to do today. But it's always exciting when Beta releases new bikes because that's what we love to do. And tradition that we've kind of started is every time a new bike comes out, I'll do a really quick YouTube video on it, give my thoughts as a Beta dealer. We've been with Beta since 2011. We do quite a few bikes, and we literally race almost every weekend. The last 5 weekends there's been dirt bike races, and then this next weekend there is a hard enduro in Kentucky. So please stay tuned on our channel. Please consider subscribing and checking out all of our race footage. So real quick video, this is kind of new for us because if you follow our channel, we do hair scrambles, hard enduros, a lot of wood stuff. Don't have a lot of motocross stuff in our building. And so that's kind of what Beta is bringing into the world, or into the off-road world. And their lineup is a motocross bike. So really exciting because it'll be something new for us to offer. I kind of grew up doing motocross, but kind of faded out whenever we picked up Beta 12 years ago. So all new bike, and they've kind of been hinting at this for like 3 years now. So Beta had that 300 two-stroke. They released that in 2021. We had one. We rode it for quite a while. It was really fast, really stiff, but that was a two-stroke version. And obviously doesn't really fit into any American style motocross stuff. It's either like a 254 stroke or a 454 stroke. So, it was a great step into the motocross world, maybe to get their feet wet. And they said it was good for like the GP guys, or like the world vet guys. Like if you're in the 50 plus class, there might not be the same rules. You can buy this bike and run it. But it was a pretty limited market. I think we're selling a ton of 300 RXs right now. Actually, we've done like 6 of them already for 2024, mainly because people are turning them into a really good woods weapon. So you can buy this 300 RX, and we've done a lot of videos on this, and there's a really good video I shot comparing it to like an RE, which is the race edition model, and like why you would buy the RX versus the RE. So I don't want to get too far off topic on this video talking about that 300. But just to know that like that, I think would be easier to convert into the woods than this 450 is going to be. So that's my long way of saying that. So I think this 450 is really going to be good on motocross, but I don't think you're going to enjoy it in the woods. That's just my opinion. Where the 300 two-stroke version, way easier to control in the woods. So let's jump into this video and check out this 450 RX. So this 450 RX, really excited about it. They've been hinting about it. They've been racing it overseas for a couple years. They've had that the GP series. They've been running that over there. They've had some pretty good success with it, some top 10s. But they now feel comfortable enough to hire some supercross riders. So they've got Benny Bloss and Colt Nichols, which two really solid riders. They've got really good names. So I think it's great that Beta hired those guys. I think they're going to find some success. They'll at least be in the main events for sure. I think both those riders are fully capable of main events on the 450. So let's just go over some details on this bike. I obviously don't have one here yet. I can order this bike at 9 a.m. So we're going to be sitting here with our finger on the trigger to order that bike. We want to have one of the first ones. We do plan on working with a local rider. He wants to chase the Loretta Lynn's 25 plus A championship this year. So really excited to work with him. So we need to get one here, let him ride it, see what he thinks of it, and go from there with it. So how does this 450 RX differ from the 430 Race Edition? I think that's going to be the best comparison if you're in the Beta world. So it's a whole different bike. We'll just say that right off the bat. So we can start pretty much anywhere on this bike, and it's going to be different. So suspension is going to be taller and stiffer. It is still the KYB, but it is way stiffer and it's a taller suspension. We learned that with the RX 300s. So customers that are buying that 300, they're immediately just getting their suspension done if they're going to race off-road with it. So that's been one of the biggest things that we noticed. This is a 5-speed gearbox versus a 6-speed. So you don't have that wide ratio. You don't need 6 gear going across the cornfield on an RX bike. There is a smaller gas tank. So this is like a 1.9 gallon tank versus a 2.5. So much smaller gas tank. And I don't know if the off-road IMS tank is going to click onto this, because in the description they talk about the frame being a little bit different, a little bit stronger. So we have to get one here and see if an IMS tank will sit down into the frame, because that'll be a pretty big turnoff for some guys until they develop a tank for the off-road MX or for the off-road wood series. What's cool with this is a whole new rear subframe. They went back to aluminum, and I think they've kind of learned with the off-road guys even, we're breaking them. So we can break a rear subframe, or customers do anyway, pretty easily. I'm actually pretty shocked. The guys that are doing all the hard enduros for me, they haven't broken a subframe yet. And Danny's bike has tumbled down. I mean, all the guys, I mean, it's part of hard enduro, they crash. And so we've had good success with it, but I do get a lot of customers that call, say they weren't really being all that abusive on it and it cracks. So they went back to a 3-piece aluminum subframe on this bike, and it's actually a 3-piece rear fender now. So typically with the Beta, your rear fender and the side plates are all one. You kind of like slide it on and click it in. It's not the case with this. So they're all going to be, you can take the side panels off individually. So I'm really curious to see what the airbox looks like and all those pieces. So as soon as we get this thing, we're going to do a full-blown video on it. You can be sure of that. So those are some changes. Reading down through the description, we notice obviously it's got the 19-inch rear rim that's standard on motocross bikes. Same with that 300RX. So that's another difference between the race edition. And this has a totally new like handlebar layout with like just a kill switch and a start button. Mimics the 300. No more big cluster of wire, no lights. This is pure motocross. So that's pretty cool. We've been waiting for that. I would love to see a woods version of this bike though. Like that's going to be a huge seller for us, is this bike tamed down a little bit for the woods guys. And just kind of reading down through the description, it's got like the steel frame, which is normal for us, the twin oil pumps, which is standard. It runs the same spark plug that we've been running since 2011. It does have, I'm trying to read all the description as we go down through here, a 46mm throttle body with dual injectors, so we're used to the dual injector stuff. And it comes in at $10,999, so it's actually a really good price. I think that's really fair. I have no idea what the KTM sell for. I don't even look. Maybe we'll learn that now that we have a bike to compete against it. But we've always been a little bit less than the KTM guys across the board. So this was just a really quick video. I know I don't have a lot of specifics on it yet. We're just kind of reading down through the sheet. But with our beta experience and knowing like when or why you would buy a bike, I think this is purely going to be a motocross bike. I don't think it's going to be a good GNCC bike. Just don't see that being the case. So thank you guys so much for watching our channel. We have a lot of really cool stuff planned. Bike reviews, racing stuff. So please consider subscribing, and we'll see you soon.